Hi everyone! It's Miss Amanda from Livingston Public Library, and I'm here sharing with you a story time. Before we begin, let's get rid of our wiggles. Wiggle fingers, wiggle so, wiggle high, and wiggle low, wiggle left, wiggle right, wiggle fingers out of sight. Now there's no more wiggles left in me, so I can sit as still as can be. Great job! Our first story is called A Hat for Mrs. Goldman, a story about knitting and love, written by Michelle Edwards, illustrated by G. Brian Carras. When Sophie was a tiny baby, Mrs. Goldman next door knit her a tiny baby hat to keep her warm. Now Sophie is big, and she makes the pom-poms for Mrs. Goldman's hats. Hats for the tiniest babies. Hats for small, medium, and large friends and neighbors. Mrs. Goldman taught her how. Keeping keppies warm is our mitzvah, said Mrs. Goldman, kissing the top of Sophia's head. This is your keppy, and a mitzvah is a good deed. Sophia and Mrs. Goldman bundled up to walk Mrs. Goldman's dog, Fifi. Winter is almost here. Fifi wears her dinosaur sweater. Sophia wears her fuzzy kitten hat and matching mittens. Mrs. Goldman made them all. An icy wind blows Mrs. Goldman's hair left and right. It turns her ears pink. Where's your hat? Asked Sophia. I gave it to Mrs. Chen, she explains. Mrs. Goldman's kepi must be cold, worries Sophia. At home, Sophia thinks and worries again. Worries and thinks. Mrs. Goldman needs a hat. Who will knit one for her? Not Mrs. Goldman. She's too busy knitting for everyone else. Last year, Mrs. Goldman taught Sophia how to knit. I only like making pom-poms, decided Sophia after a few days. Knitting is hard, and it takes too long. Now Sophia digs out the knitting bag Mrs. Goldman gave her, and the hat they started. The stitches are straight and even. The soft wool smells like Mrs. Goldman's chicken soup. Sophia holds the needles and tries to remember what to do. She drops one stitch. She drops another. Still Sophia knits on. She wants to make Mrs. Goldman the most special hat in the world. The next day, when Sophia and Mrs. Goldman walk Fifi, tiny fluffs of snow fall on Mrs. Goldman's head. Her ears are bright red. Mrs. Goldman's kepi must be very cold, frets Sophia. Sophia knits after breakfast. She knits after lunch. She knits after dinner. She even knits while Mama reads her a bedtime story. But Sophia doesn't knit when she is at Mrs. Goldman's house. The hat is a surprise. All week there's frost on the windows. One day, when they are walking Fifi, Mrs. Goldman wraps Mr. Goldman's scarf around her head like she's a mummy. A fierce wind unwraps it and flings it up high. Sophia jumps and grabs an end of the scarf. Fifi nips at the other end. Mrs. Goldman's kepi must be freezing, shivers Sophia. Sophia knits and knits and knits, faster and faster and faster, stitch by stitch, row by row. Then Sophia sews. At last, Mrs. Goldman's hat is done. Hooray! Sort of. The hat is lumpy and bumpy, and there are holes where there shouldn't be holes. Oh dear. It looks like a monster hat, thinks Sophia. Sophia turns the hat over and around, inside out. Mrs. Goldman's hat should not be a monster hat that will scare Fifi. Sophia opens the box of hats Mrs. Goldman made for her. Each one is special, but they are all too small for Sophia now, and way too small for Mrs. Goldman. Sophia looks in the hall closet. There are hats Mrs. Goldman made for Mama and Papa. She can't give her their hats. There is a scratchy old hat Sophia's abuela wore back in Mexico. Worse than Mr. Goldman's scarf. Sophia thinks about Mrs. Goldman and the hat they make together. Your pom-poms add beauty, Mrs. Goldman always tells her, and that's a mitzvah too. Sophia feels her heart grow bigger and lighter, like a balloon. Oh, she has an idea. I wonder what it is. She searches her room for red yarn. Red is Mrs. Goldman's favorite color. She gathers her scissors, her sewing needle, and her stack of index cards. Sophia gets busy. Very busy. What could she be making? When Sophia is done, Mrs. Goldman's hat is the most special hat in the world. Sophia rushes next door. Surprise! For me? asks Mrs. Goldman. For you, answers Sophia. It's a hat, she says. Of course it is, exclaims Mrs. Goldman, and she hugs Sophia, and then she cries. What's wrong? asks Sophia. Don't you like it? I more than like it. I love it, declares Mrs. Goldman. Gorgeous, like Mr. Goldman's rose bushes, and you know how I love his roses. Mrs. Goldman kisses Sophia on the top of her kepi. I made it all by myself, Sophia tells her. Amazing! And will you look at all these pom-poms? 1, 2, 3, 4, counts Mrs. Goldman. Sophia joins in. There are 20 pom-poms on Mrs. Goldman's hat, each one made with love. She gently pulls the hat on. The next day, Sophia and Mrs. Goldman walk Fifi. Fifi wears her dinosaur sweater. Sophia wears her fuzzy kitten hat and matching mittens. Mrs. Goldman wears her Sophia hat. Her kepi is toasty warm. And that's a mitzvah. The end. Yay!
I have a flannel board to share with you. It's called The Kitten and the Lost Mitten. My poor little kitten has lost her mitten and started to cry boo-hoo. So I helped my kitten to look for her mitten, her beautiful mitten of blue. I found a mitten just right for my kitten under my mother's bed. But alas, the mitten was not the right mitten, for it was... What color is that? That's right, red. And we're looking for... Yes, a blue mitten. We need to look again. I found a mitten just right for my kitten under my father's pillow. But alas, the mitten was not the right mitten, for it was... What color? Yes, yellow. And we're looking for what color? Bright blue. I found a mitten just right for my kitten on the hand of my brother's toy clown. But alas, the mitten was not the right mitten, for it was... What color? Yes, brown. And we're looking for what color? That's right, blue. I found a mitten just right for my kitten under the laundry so clean. But alas, the mitten was not the right mitten, for it was... Yes, that's right. It was green. And what color do we need? That's right, blue. I found a mitten just right for my kitten under the kitchen sink. But alas, the mitten was not the right mitten, for it was... That's right, that mitten is pink. And what color do we need? That's right, blue. I found a mitten just right for my kitten inside my favorite shoe. Oh, look at this mitten. What color is it? That's right. And is that the color we're looking for? Yes. And this mitten was the right mitten because it was blue. Oh, thank goodness we found the mitten for my kitten. And now my kitten's happy. Good job. The end. Yay!
Our next story is called If You Want to Knit Some Mittens, written by Purdy Salas, illustrated by Angela Madison. Number 1. Get a sheep. Seriously. 2. Keep her warm and well fed through the long, chilly winter. Wish for mittens. Wait for spring. Number 3. In spring, your sheep might beg for a mohawk or for pig. No, sheep tails. But scraggly sheep need a neat, complete buzz cut. Number 4. Soak the dirty fleece in soapy water. Rinse out grass and food and dirt. Sheep are not the cleanest creatures. No offense meant, sheep. A barn is not a clean place. Number 5. Gently press the fleece to squeeze out the water. Riding your bike over it does not work. Silly sheep. Number 6. Once it's dry, pick the fleece into pieces. Then use bristly paddles to card them. This untangles the fibers. It does not work on people hair. Number 7. Spin your wispy wool into yarn, letting your spinning wheel hum and sing your sheep to sleep. Number 8. Choose a color for your mittens. Do you like lemon meringue, sunny gold, or sassy saffron? Oh, if you like lemon meringue, put your finger on your nose. Oh, okay, if you like the sunny gold color, put your fingers on your ears. Oh, all right, if you like the sassy saffron color, put your fingers on your knees. Wow, let's see what she picked. Sunny gold, great! But chances are your sheep did not grow gold wool. That's true. What color is the sheep? That's right, white. Number 9, quick, plant some marigolds. You need soil, sun, water. Number 10, wait. Number 11, wait. Oh, it looks like they're reading to the flowers to help them grow. Number 12, wait. Well, nobody said this would be a quick project. 13, pick marigolds and dry them in the sun. Jumping rope nearby is not recommended. Uh-oh, what happened? Oh, all the marigolds blew up into the air. Number 14, make an icky mixture and soak your yarn in it. This step helps the dye stick better later. It only looks like noodle soup. Remove the no, not noodles. Yarn and rinse it off. Number 15, soak your marigolds in water. It's marigold magic, sheep. Number 16, cook your yarn in the marigold dye. Number 17, then spread your yarn out to dry. You might think it would make a cool mummy costume, but it would not. Oh, silly sheep. Number 18, get some knitting needles and learn to knit. Let your fingers fly. Click, clack, slip, snip. Knit your mittens. Wait for winter. Whew. Now slip on your mittens. Hold the golden sun in your hands. Oh, wow. It looks like everyone's getting presents. Let's see. Turn the page and find out what everybody got. Oh, so the girl gave the sheep a hat, and the baby chicks got skis, and hen and pig are using a sled to slide down in the snow. Looks like they're having fun. Have a warm and woolly winter with your friend sheep. The end. Yay! Those were some great stories. Now it's time for a song. Will you sing with me? Oh, wonderful! Let's sing The Wheels on the Bus. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the town. The people on the bus go up and down, up and down, up and down. The people on the bus go up and down, all through the town. The wipers on the bus go swish, 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 swish. The wipers on the bus go swish, 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 all through the town. The horn on the bus goes beep, 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 beep. The horn on the bus goes beep, 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 all through the town. The babies on the bus go where, 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 where. The babies on the bus go where, where, all through the town. The adults on the bus say, I love you, I love you, I love you. The adults on the bus say, I love you, all through the town. The doors on the bus go open and shut, open and shut, open and shut. The doors on the bus go open and shut, all through the town. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the town. Great singing! Let's hear another story. This story is called Ned the Knitting Pirate, written by Diana Murray, illustrated by Leslie Lamley. Listen to the legend of the crew that sailed the deep aboard a tattered pirate ship they called the Rusty Heap. The pirates were a rugged lot, as fierce as they were strong, and as they swabbed the deck one day they sang this pirate song. We're pirates, out sailing the sea, so scruffy and scrappy and happy are we. We're tougher than grizzle and barnacle grit. We heave and we hoe and we swab and we knit! The whole crew turned and stared at Ned. The ship was deadly quiet. Youre, said Ned, I likes to knit. You might too if you try it. The captain stomped his wooden leg. I wouldn't be hearing that. A scurvy pirate doesn't knit, nor wear a fuzzy hat. They sailed on to an island, where the crew began to dig. And when they found a treasure chest, they sang and danced a jig. We're pirates, out sailing the sea. We do what we likes, and we likes to be free. We ain't scared of nothing, not one little bit. We heave and we hoe and we dig and we knit! Knit! The crew was all in stitches, but the captain's nerves were frayed. Youre, said Ned, I likes to knit, that hat be custom made. The captain shook his golden hook. I won't be hearing that. A scurvy pirate doesn't knit, nor wear a fuzzy hat. The pirates brought the chests aboard and counted each doubloon, then cooked a batch of squid ink soup and sang another tune. We're pirates, out sailing the sea, as scary and hairy as any could be. We're grouchy and slouchy, we don't ever quit. We slurp and we burp and we gulp and we knit! That captain got so mad he turned as red as lobster stew. Youre, said Ned, I likes to knit, and that be what I do. The captain stomped and shook his hook. I'll not have knitting talk. Ye best not knit another stitch, or down the plank you'll walk. Uh-oh. So Ned went sadly to his bunk and stowed his hat away. He packed his needles, balls of yarn, and skull-trim applique. He folded up his blanket with the Jolly Roger crest, and statched it with the knitted scarves, the mittens, and the rest. Poor Ned. That night Ned heard a mighty splash. A chill raced down his back. The captain yelled, all hands on deck, prepare for an attack. Uh-oh. Just as Ned had feared, it was the briny ocean beast who loved to snack on pirate ships, his favorite floating feast. His tentacles were thick with slime, his eyes a ghastly yellow, and cannonballs bounced off his sides as if his skin were jello. Oh no. The hungry beast ripped through the sail and gobbled down a chunk, while Ned raced back to quarters and dragged up his knitting trunk. The captain called, Avast! This be no time for knitting, Ned. But Ned rolled out the catapult. I've got a plan, he said. Ned's blanket soared into the air and landed with a slap. Oh, I wonder what's going to happen. Let's see. The beast was oh so cozy, he could not resist a nap. He yawned a great big yawn and swam down into his den. Another 100 years would pass before he'd wake again. The pirates danced aboard the ship and sang, Yo-ho, hooray! 3 cheers for Ned the Knitting Pirate, hero of the day. And how'd the pirates fix the sail? Knit 1, purl 2, repeat. The pirates knitted together till the new sail was complete. The crew aboard the Rusty Heap went on about their duties, while wearing their fuzzy hats and scarves and knitted pirate booties. But they were still a rugged lot, as fierce as they were strong, and every time they swabbed the deck they sang this pirate song. we're pirates out sailing the sea. We do what we likes and we likes to be free. We're tougher than Grizzle and Barnacle Grit. We heave and we hoe and we swab and we knit. The end. Yay! Great story! It's time for a flannel board story, based on a book called 3 Bags Full, story by Ragnhild Scamwell. Millie was very, very kind. She tried not to squash flowers, and she tried not to step on anyone smaller than herself. One warm spring morning, Millie was skipping around in her field, feeling happy. She sniffed a yellow flower and almost sat on a bird. Oops! I'm looking for a nice piece of wool to line my nest, said Bird. Have some of mine, said Millie. I don't mind if I do, said Bird, and pulled off a clump that was hanging down. I'm also looking for a nice clump of wool for my nest, said Badger, who seemed to have appeared from nowhere. Help yourself, said Millie. And me, begged Rabbit. You too, said Millie, and rubbed herself against a tree so they could each get a nice clump of wool. Soon all her wool was gone. Look at you, said Alma. She was a sensible sheep. Imagine giving away your good coat. You look like a goat now. But Millie was happy. She hopped and skipped and hopped, higher than before because she felt as light as a feather without her heavy woolly coat. But that night it snowed. Large, cold flakes landed on Millie's bare back and made her shiver. Bird wasn't cold. Badger wasn't cold. Rabbit wasn't cold either. But Millie was very, very cold. You can stay up here in the tree with me, said Bird, but Millie couldn't climb trees. You're welcome to stay with me, said Badger, but Millie was too big to crawl into Badger's burrow. She peered into Rabbit's hole and sighed. It was too crowded in there already. No problem, said a sly fox. Stay with me. I like goats. I am not a goat, bleated Millie, and ran off. When Mrs. Farmer saw Millie, she sighed. I wanted that wool to knit a nice cardigan, she said. It's lucky that I still have some wool left over from last year. That night, Millie slept in Mrs. Farmer's warm kitchen. She dreamed that she was a goat. Uh-oh. Clickety-click, clickety-click, clickety-click went Mrs. Farmer's knitting needles all night long. By morning, Mrs. Farmer had knitted a sweater for Millie. It was green, and it fit her perfectly. Millie skipped back into the field. She was warm again, but there was a strand of wool hanging down at the back of her new sweater, and as she tried to pull it off, the sweater unraveled itself a little. I could use a nice piece of green wool, said the bird. Help yourself, said Millie. The end. Yay! Time for our last story. This one's called Knit Together, written and illustrated by Angela Dominguez. This is me. I love to draw. Mom doesn't draw. Mom knits. I think knitting is much better than drawing. Why? Because you can wear it. If I could knit, I would make the most amazing things. Finger puppets, gloves, finger puppets and gloves. I asked Mom to show me. But it's not as easy as it looks. Mom says it's okay. She says I help her by inspiring her in my own special way. And then we come up with the best idea. A collaboration. We'll make something together. Oh, that's a great plan. But first, it's inspiration time. I try not to think too hard about what I will draw. Mom says sometimes the best ideas come when your brain is resting. And then I get to work. There are slow starts and squiggles and knots. But then I have it. We're ready. Together we gather our supplies. We talk about our project. And then we work to make something we could never have made alone. It's a drawing we can wear. Oh, look, it's a sailboat, just like the sailboat they're watching sail by. Together. What a nice story. The end. Yay! Those were some wonderful stories. I'm so happy I got to share them with you. Will you sing one more song before we go? You will? Great! How about If You're Happy and You Know It? Are you ready? If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet, stomp, stomp. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet, stomp, stomp. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet, stomp, stomp. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray! If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray! If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray! Yay! Great singing! See you next time!